being as though, like I said, they're both over 40 at this point, and like with the versus thing, which was when they first started the versus, they were marketing it as a battle, but we can see over time it's really become more like the two artists celebrating one another.
Yeah,
So, we've got Jay, we got Nas, they, older guys. We had Snoop and X. Um, we just heard Method Man with who was Method Man with? Not a verses, but
I don't know.
he was on a song with Griselda.
Oh yeah, he was on the joint with uh damn, I don't know if it was Benny. I can't remember if it was Benny
It's the other one,
or
Conway.
Conway.
It was Conway.
Conway.
So we heard Meth on that. I saw Meth and Red got a song with Dave East or whatever. So being as though we first started listening to hip hop, I know I wasn't even a teenager yet. I was probably
Right,
10. When shit, Curtis Blow was out when I was like 5. So you
right.
know, for a long time. So how do you see so we never saw 40 and 50-year-old rappers before. There was no such thing. Like LL
Nope.
and them was teenagers like we were and stuff. So what do you think? How do you think hip hop direction of hip hop is going now, where we still got teenagers or 20 something rappers, but we got folks that still like relevant at 40, 50 years old?
I think it's great. And I think that finally hip hop is becoming a genre of music that is just like rock and roll. Bands like Rolling Stones, them bands 102. And they, Mick Jagger and them, they old as a mug. And they still out here doing shows and touring and stuff. YouTube, they still out here. They old too. Um, even, singers like Tina Turner and Smokey Robinson and people like that, that's singers, they still out here performing. And I don't see anything wrong with, you know, rappers that are 40, 50 years old still out here performing. I hope Big Daddy Kane and Rakim do a verses and each of them put out a project off the strength of their verses. I would love for LL to do more music.
I saw
I
L was just on with Fat Joe. He said he's getting ready to put out an album. LL, that
who?
is.
Oh yeah,
LL.
see,
And by the way, somebody made a comment about you. I put it on the screen.
I saw. I don't even know what he means, but I see it.
Yeah, so the rappers over 40, I think it's a good thing. But another thing that I think hip hop in general needs to do, like if you've worked in the industry before, like radio before, there's different formats. So like if you're in the DC area, you have your urban AC channels, which means it's urban adult contemporary, which basically means black old
Right,
music. So in
right.
DC, that would be HUR and 102.3. But they usually play R&B. I don't know of like a hip hop urban AC station where they would
Well,
play the new stuff by the older rappers. Like what radio station do
well,
I turn on to hear the new Wu Tang and the new Rakim or the new L or the new Kane?
well. You know what? Wow, that's a very interesting dynamic that you bring up because I was about to fix my mouth to say shit 93 and 95 will play it, but I I only think they will play that from certain people. Like I think they'll play like a Jay-Z, a Nas, uh, and honestly, that might be it. Maybe a Dr. Dre joint that somebody do or whatever. But like I don't think 93.9 or 95 will play like a Rakim song or Big Daddy Kane or maybe not even an LL. But what I will say is that 96.3 and 102.3, they have started to play more hip hop songs. Now, mind you, it's old hip hop, like old Biggie, um,
Right.
old Busta Rhymes, old you know, whatever was mainstream hip hop. So I think it would be extremely beneficial to those urban adult contemporary channels, stations, to start playing not only old stuff from, stuff that would, like, I think they could play Cream. They could play Cream. They could play some old Biggie joints. They could play old Tupac joints. They could play whatever. And through that, start playing some of the newer, if these guys started making new music, start playing that new music. Even if you only got to play it at night or on the weekends, it'll still be played. And you'll probably have more people like us that don't listen to the radio at all, really, a whole lot these days, will start to listen to the radio more and, be and tune into that. I mean, it couldn't hurt them.
Now, I had this idea maybe like 5 years ago or whatever, but like maybe 3 years ago, I was riding in the car and I don't remember what radio station. I think I must have been, I don't know what car I was in, but I think what's the radio that comes in your car? Like they give you like 90 days for free or whatever.
Sirius XM.
Sirius XM, yeah. So I must have been in my other car or whatever. So because I've listened to Sirius XM, and Fat Joe was putting out an album around that time. And they were interviewing him, and he started talking about what we're talking about right now with the hip hop urban AC station. And I remember him saying that LL was starting one on Sirius XM. But this was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. So it might be one on Sirius XM, but I have no idea what it's called.
Yeah, I have Sirius XM in my joint, and I don't know. It could be because I remember when I first got it, I tried to find and lock down, all the hip hop joints and all the R&B joints, and I didn't, unless I missed it, and I just didn't. I didn't see a channel that was like urban, adult, contemporary hip hop. But it might be, and I
want to say I want to say it might have been called Backspin. Might have been called Backspin. I'm not sure.
It might be one. It might be one.
But I think that would go. I think that would go a long way, because if you listen, even like listening to the Nas album, you can tell the very last song on the album, which says it's a bonus track or whatever, but you can tell that's the one where Hit Boy was like, let me try to get you a club joint, and he was just like, all right, I'll go with it, but just put that shit at the end of the album or whatever, because they're not gonna play Car 85 and none of that stuff on 93 or 95. It got to be trap. So if you 40 years old, 50 years old, and you still making trap, and not only are you 40, 50 and you still making trap, but you was out in the 90s. If some of these 40-year-old dudes came out in 2010, like 2
Chainz.
Like 2 Chainz or somebody, like that's a little bit different. Yeah. But for Nas to be trying to make trap songs when he came out in the 90s, it would be corny. Rather, as if you can just make your regular stuff and still have a lane to get played, it would be more. I think it would be more beneficial.
I agree.
And I noticed, and like today, like I don't. If I listen to the radio, it's mainly sports talk or what have you. But the radio today is mainly, like playlists. Like Spotify has Rap Caviar. That's the radio. Apple has Rap Life, the Rap Life playlist. That's the radio. So I looked at them. I was like, let me see if they put any of these Nas records in the playlist. So I think the Rap Life joint, it put the song that I'm talking about, the one that's the very last song on the album, they put that in the playlist. And I think Spotify might have put the Firm record in the playlist, but it was like way down the list. But I looked at the list. And for hip hop, for hip hop to be a New York based music, When you look at those playlists, everything on there is from somebody down south.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe from it was the baby, little baby, the baby, little baby, the baby, little baby, Gunna.
All these babies, yeah.
And Drake, of course. And I was like, damn, man, like I'm probably like super out of touch with where hip hop is for the youth nowadays, because I ain't really want to hear it. Some of it is okay, I guess, but I just don't really be hearing too many bars out of them dudes, man.
Well, you're not. I had a really interesting conversation with Trey, my son Trey.
Right.
He'll be 15 years. He'll be 15 years old this year, and I sometimes when we be in the car, I'll let him hook up his phone so I can hear whatever he's listening to, and it's like you just said, the baby, Lil Baby, uh, Gunners, and a rack of people that I never even heard of. Pop Smoke, rest in peace, and people like that, whatever. But I asked him one day. I was like, so I said, do y'all people your age and your generation, do y'all pay attention to the lyrics? Like, does lyrics count? What the guy or the girl is saying and actually saying in the song, their content, how they put the words together, whatever. And he flat out was like, no. He was like, Dad, it ain't about. He said it ain't about lyrics at all. It's really about the vibe of the song and how the song feels. He was like, it's the beat and the cadence in which that they are rapping that we pay attention to, and what he's describing is what a lot of the young people call now bop. We called bop. Bop was something completely different to us when we was coming up, but that's what they say. It's a bop. It's a bop. Like when the WAP song came out with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, that's what everybody was saying. Oh, that's on a bop. That's a bop, and that's what they mean. It's like it's a vibe, the feel of the song, how the song sounds, and I understand what they mean because
I get it.
some of this, I like some of it. I got some of it in my phone. I got some of the babies and that tough stuff in the phone because it do make you bop your head. It do give you that, that feeling of being in the club and you just, vibing off the music. You ain't paying attention to what they saying. They could be talking about crazy stuff, but you just feeling the beat and the whole vibe of the song. And that's all they pay attention to now. That's it. It ain't about, it has progressed to just how the song feels to them. And, the only thing I say to a lot of our peers and people in our age is that, if you want bars and you want lyrics, it's people out here for that. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff you see on the radio, and you hear your kids listen to, that ain't it. But if you want bars and you want lyrics and you want content, it's out here. It just don't, unfortunately, it doesn't get the kind of shine that other stuff get because, as we all know, young people push the envelope. Whatever the young people are doing, because those are the people that streaming. I mean, we stream and stuff too. We buy music, but they really buy music. I mean, they
Music is a young person's game.
Absolutely.
Once you have your run when you're 20s, if you can make it into your 30s, that's good. But it's pretty much. I mean, Prince ain't never sell Purple Rain numbers again. Michael Jackson never did Thriller numbers again. It just is, it just is what it is. You're gonna have your run. As far as selling records now, you can still sell out a show and stuff like that. Like Jay-Z ain't got to sell any more records. He can still sell out a show, but as far as records, that's it. But